Hi, if you're new here, welcome. If you've been with us before, welcome back. And if you just saw the title and decide to stroll by and click on it, welcome. And make sure you all like, comment, and subscribe and share. Today's video, we're going to be telling you how we almost went to jail in Mexico. I'm about to relive it and rehash it for you. So stay tuned. Alright, if you stayed clicked on, you want to hear about what happened to us in Mexico and how we almost went to jail. So let me start from the beginning. Me and hubby decided to go to Mexico for his birthday. Now, I love Cancun. If anybody knows, Cancun is a place where I like to go. I love the food. The people are cool. I like Cancun. Okay? And it doesn't hurt that there's a flight straight from New Orleans to Cancun. Makes it even better. I don't know. But, anywho, we went ahead and we decided to stay 10 days in Cancun. I did 5 days at a resort because I love my resorts. I love to be at a resort. Well, the resort we stayed at was kind of in the middle of the hotel zone, which if you're familiar with Cancun, there's the hotel zone where all the hotels are and a couple of shops and a little strip. Then there is Fifth Avenue where there's a lot of shops. There's a lot of restaurants, local restaurants, and it's a touristy street, but it also has local spots mixed in. There's bars, there's restaurants, you know, it's the whole vibe, okay? Because you know that you have to find that street, you know what I mean? That was that street. And so when we stayed at the resort, we stayed at the resort for 5 days because I love resorts. I'm a resort snob when I go out of the country, but I also like to get off the resort and see a little bit of the country that we're visiting. But most likely, I like to be on the resort. I like to have the all-inclusive experience. Okay. Hubby likes total opposite, and it was his birthday. He likes to get in with the locals, find out, you know, what's the local spots, what's the local things to do. So for this vacation, we did 5 days at a resort, and then I surprised him with 5 days at an Airbnb. Now, so when our 5 days was over, we went ahead, we got a cab to head to our Airbnb, which hubby didn't know nothing about this Airbnb. He thinking we're going to another resort. So we pulled up to the Airbnb. I text the Airbnb host to let her know that we were there, and I knew check-in time wasn't until 3, but we got there about 12:30. So I asked her, was there a place where we could put our luggage while there's a Walmart that was 2 blocks away, then there was the strip, but we were gonna go have lunch, have a drink, and hit the Walmart, get some groceries, and come back to the Airbnb. So, in the midst of her texting me back, we were walking up to the Airbnb, and she texted the guy at the front desk, because there was a front desk, those condos, and he told us that we could put our luggage behind the desk. Well, he told her, she related to us because he only spoke Spanish, and at that time we wasn't that great in Spanish. So we put our luggage behind the desk. Now, our luggage was kind of big to sit behind this desk. This desk was kind of small. And we had 3 big suitcases and 2 carry-ons. And hubby had his big old laptop. I mean, his laptop comes in a big old container, a big old briefcase. So, you know, we had a lot of stuff. So, we put it there. And as we were about to walk out to go get lunch and go to Walmart, the Airbnb host texted me back and asked if we can go to the rooftop and chill for a minute, because she was having the housekeepers, they were still in there cleaning, but she was going to get us, once she talked to them, for us to put our luggage inside of the condo while they clean, so it wouldn't be all by the front desk, because it was a lot of luggage. So I said, okay, so we went to the rooftop. And as we was on the rooftop, we were just chilling, looking at everything. We wasn't in no hurry. We had breakfast at the resort, so we wasn't like, you know, hungry or anything. We was just going to go get a drink, get lunch, just to do it. So we was cool and we was chilling, wasn't no home, no foul. So as we were sitting on the rooftop, a gentleman came up who actually worked with um, the gentleman downstairs, but he spoke English. And he was like, he came to get us maybe 30, 45 minutes later to come get our luggage and put in um, the condo. So we went, we got our luggage, we put it in the condo. When we put our luggage in the condo, he gave us the code. He said when we come back, he said give him about 2 hours and everything will be ready. And he gave us the code and everything so we can get into the condo when we came back, because the Airbnb host didn't give it to us. So I was like, okay, great. So we left. Me and hubby decided to go at the strip first before we decided to do Walmart. We was like, we'll come back, once we have lunch and get a drink and stuff, we'll come back to make sure everything is good. Then we'll just go to the Walmart and decide what we're going to get, to put in the room. Because we really didn't need it much of anything, but we was just going to get in case we oversleep or late at night we want to get a snack or something. We was just going to grab a whole bunch of little snacks and stuff to put in the Airbnb. Especially after leaving the all-inclusive, you get up, want a drink or whatever. We was going to buy a bottle. So we went ahead, we went down to the strip. As we were on the strip and everything, we had been on the strip maybe for about 3 hours. So after being on the strip and shopping and everything, we got a couple of bags and we were headed back to our Airbnb. As we was heading back to our Airbnb, there were like cops everywhere. And something about Mexico, they be having the rifles on them and holding guns and stuff, and they had all this, and they were about close to where our Airbnb was. And I was like, oh my goodness. And hubby looked at me, he was like, what kind of place you got me at? And so I laughed and I was like, So there was a lot of people around and a lot of police. So I was like, you know what? Let's go walk to Walmart. We don't need to be around all this foolishness, you know what I'm saying? Even though we got these bags, let's go walk to Walmart. So we went over to Walmart and got our bottle. And we came back. When we came back, there were more police. Like, it had to be about maybe, I won't say, maybe 15 cars. All had their guns out. They were packed in that lobby. Packed to capacity. And they were like whole group. It was a lot of police and a whole big old group of black residents that was also there. I don't know if they were condo or what they were doing, right? At the point where we walked up, we just saw there was this big group, looked like they must have had a party or something, and all these police. So we walk in and they're like talking to one of the guys. The police are like, because it was a language barrier as well, and the guy that helped us, gave us the code and everything. He was standing up there, and so they were talking to them about what they saw on the camera, and they were like, you need to watch this camera because somebody had a gun. And I'm like, oh my. So it was like somebody brought in a gun. So we standing there like, I was like, So they were like, y'all putting it on us, y'all being racist, nobody had no gun, blah 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 blah, right? Some of the other people that was in the party, that's the conversation they were having. So I'm standing there, I'm like, okay, if they trying to blame them and some crazy issue going on, I'm gonna call my Airbnb host and I'm gonna tell them to give me my money back, and I'm going somewhere else. I'm not staying in no place where people just blaming people for no foolishness. So I'm standing there, me and hubby, and a young lady was standing in front of, she was standing closer to the cop, and one of the cops, and so they were standing there, and so they were looking at the footage on they had a TV screen with the camera. It was a camera monitor, so they looking at it and whatnot, and so we standing there, we like, so I'm like, I'm about to hear what these people got to say, because they're about to say some ish, we gone. And I'm thinking to myself, and I'm just looking at hubby looking at me, and we standing there listen to watch. And then I heard the young lady in front of me whisper to the cops, those are the ones that had the guns, them right behind me. Now we right in front of her. So I heard her, and I'm like, wait a minute, why am I even standing? So when she said that, I was like, you know what, let me just go ahead to my room with my stuff, and yeah, I ain't got nothing to do with it. Since you want to say it was us, you might have got it confused, but we ain't about to be in this foolishness. So I walked over because hubby was still standing 10 toes down. He wanted to hear, so I went, opened up the room to make sure it can open and we can get in. And the guy at the desk was like, yes, ma'am, it's ready for y'all. Because I was, punching the numbers, and he turned and looked at me. He said, yes, ma'am, it's ready. I said, okay, thank you. And I opened the door, and I looked back, and hubby started walking too. And because I didn't know if he had heard it, but I wanted to get to the room, open up the door and tell him, come on, because we ain't about to have this foolishness. But he heard it too, so he walked on in. So we went on in our Airbnb to check it out and everything, because it was clean. And when we got in and closed the door, because it was our room was right there next to the desk. So we got in the room. Hubby said, did you hear what they said? I said, I thought she said that. That's why I walked off. I was like, you know what, I ain't here for this foolishness. He was like, she was about to throw us totally under the bus. But luckily, oh boy, knew who he was, because we had left our luggage and everything. But the cop didn't know the cop was looking. And he was like, that's why I didn't want to walk off too fast. I didn't want them to think, And I was like, they could have thought what they wanted, but they would have ran them cameras and saw. And he was like, exactly. So I was like, so hubby was like, you ready to go do another walk? Because we said we was going to come check everything. We were going to go back down and get another drink from this little bar we had saw down the street. And he was like, you want to go? I was like, no, I want them to clear everything out, because I don't want no misunderstandings and them trying to throw us in jail. So we waited for a few minutes. So we walked out after, everything got quiet, and you heard they were kind of putting the people out or whatever. We walked back out, and there was still a couple of police there, and the two girls that had said it was us, and they looking at us all crazy and side-eyed, and the cop, smiled and it's like, hi. I was like, hi. And I was like, oh my God, that could have been really, really bad. Like, really bad. So we went and had our drink and came back inside. But it could have been really bad, y'all. Oh my goodness. But yes, so that's the time that we almost went to jail. It wasn't as dramatic as you think, but it was dramatic at that time. So if you want to wait for our next story to hear what else happened to us in Mexico, stay tuned.